Okay.
Okay.
Come thou fount of every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy grace.
Nice. And you didn't breathe there at all, right? You didn't even breathe, I don't think.
I thought I did, yeah.
Did you? Yeah. You don't have to breathe there too, because technically, one complete sentence is the whole phrase. So that's another thing you can work on if you want to work on expanding your support to last longer and be more effective as you go. Doing whole lines instead of breaking. Now, if everyone else breaks in a choir, then obviously break with them. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to like encourage it,
I think what I have in mind with it, I mean, I appreciate the hints about singing a choir, but if I ever had to sing a hymn like as a solo,
makes sense. Yeah, as a soloist, you're going to want something more like whole phrases. So, come thou fount of every blessing, tune my, and then keep going to the end of the phrase. Or another thing I've heard people when they're soloing, another option is, come thou fount of, and they just make an extra emphasis on come. It doesn't even have to be that long. Or, come thou fount, and then they sneak in the breath there. So they can just try that. So you have several options to sculpt and paint it. Yeah.
Come thou fount of every blessing, tune my... That'll take some practice to do it all.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's okay if you don't. If you can practice it both ways. I recommend doing both ways because you might want the extra air to even like hyper sculpt this. I don't know. Okay, let's keep going. Streams of mercy.
Streams of mercy, and how do you say them?
Classically,
mercy.
Like mermaid. Like your English. Fake R.
Streams of mercy. You say an R there, or just
So technically, you can go. You can actually technically sing through an R. Watch, go and go Now there's the English one where it's like it's kind of between an and a Literally, it's like almost like as if it's an in between. So go where it's kind of both. Streams of mercy. Yeah, it's just one of those in between vowels. It counts as one, even though you're using a little bit of R, just like this language asks for. It's kind of that concept, but we do it a little bit in a couple places. Sometimes with R's and sometimes with L's. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise.
That was beautiful. I loved your placement for pretty much everything. Songs was actually good placement. It was just a little bit off, just barely, like microscopically off. Like I could tell it was just a little confident. It was more just the shaping of the vowel.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't even sharp or flat. Okay. It was just vowel shaping.
Call for songs.
Remember, corners of the mouth together and taller.
Call for songs of loudest praise.
Good, you fix the front and then just the back of your mouth. Think more
Call
off.
for songs. Yawn. Songs.
Good. Let's gargle. Yeah, the Good. Yeah. Now go songs. Yep, that cleared it up. It's so funny how that works. It's just the back of our tongue just gets a little lazy sometimes.
Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise.
Nice. And even before before you fixed it, quote unquote, it still sounded way better.
Okay.
So when you fix it, you just even more prettified it. But like it just needed that wake up. And the Mercy now, like every time you're on it, like it sounds really good. So there's just little things like that. You just get more sensitive about where you're tripping when you're in your practice, so that you can be like, something's not right about this. And tactic 1 is to check the vowel. Tactic 2 is to check your support. Try a little more support, a little less support, and then back to, if your support was fine, then just back to where you were. And then, so check your vowel placement. Check in the back of your mouth. Check your ab placement for your pitch pipe support, and then check your tongue to teeth placement, which is like it for higher notes. Let's see, for songs isn't that high still, especially for us. So for the lowest your tongue would be, it would be maybe like that gum to teeth position.
Okay.
Songs. Feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Versus bring it to the top of these.
Songs. Yeah.
It doesn't feel quite as right. Now put it lower. Put it too low, like as if you're way high. Songs. You can do it, but it just doesn't feel right?
Yeah.
So just that in between part for songs, but then when you're lower, streams of mercy. You probably won't have to even work on it just because your placement's normally really well for that. But if you did, you need to work on that front part of your tongue at all. It'll just be higher up on the G's. To go streams of mercy.
Streams of mercy.
Yeah, it's just a little higher.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to keep it on that mercy. You don't want to keep it right there. It's too low for it. It's too low of a tongue front for it. So put your tongue.
Streams of mercy.
Yeah, and it's okay if it's lower than the top of your teeth. Although when you get below this E, like closer to the C, like the D, that's when you want to get closer to the top of your teeth. Well, that D in the alto. Let me see. This soprano doesn't really have it.
Can we sing the alto?
Doesn't go below. Yeah, let's just sing the alto for a minute. Streams of mercy never ceasing. Do you feel how it goes up a little bit? Yeah. Let's see. Is there a part that goes any lower than that on the alto? I don't think so. Not on this one. That's fine. But yeah, so just when you get to around like C, D is when it gets to the top of your teeth. And then from here to about here, it's kind of like just kind of in between the top of your teeth to gum line. And then once it gets to about like your C or D, then you want to start thinking more around there. But that's just a tongue check. Right?
Okay, good.
Like for when you need to, because sometimes one thing won't work, but then if you do work on the other, or it'll click into place, even if it's not the actual thing you're supposed to work on. So upper ab, back of tongue, bowel sculpting, front of tongue, basically helping keep it forward and not swallowed and engage. It also helps with the back of the tongue too. So sometimes if you're working on the back of your tongue and you just end up swallowing and you're getting in your head about it, just work on the front of your tongue. It'll pop it right forward. See, vowel placement. And then we already did pitch pipe placement too. Pitch pipe into vowel. And then there's just some vowels that you'll be able to sing beautifully in one part of your range, and then another it's not. So the next thing would be to check is it over a transition point? Because then if it is, then you know, okay, let me work on just one vowel, and I'm just gonna go from or it could even be smaller, just from here to here. Like let's say it's the B that I'm working on. Where I wanted to exactly place that B. And now it sounds great. Even though normally, as a soprano, and where my transition points, I hate this B. Sometimes the B flat, but usually it's just the actual B. For me, personally. So, okay, awesome. I think you kind of have let's work on this top part a little bit, and then let's switch to another song.
Okay.
Let's go on E for a minute. Good. Now, did you notice that you didn't capitalize on your air on that? Like you were wasting air? Did you notice that at all?
No.
It's okay. Pay attention to it this time.
Okay.
A little less wasty, but still kind of wasty. Can you tell where you're wasting?
No.
There. Now, the reason why I ask is because it also is a direct result of placement. When you're even just slightly not placed, your hair will use up faster.
Okay.
So go ahead. This note wasn't placed right. This one wasn't completely pressed right. This one was. Go ahead. That's a good placement, and that's a good musical theater classical placement. If you want it more classical. Good again. Good. Now on this note, remember to bring your tongue a little bit closer to your gums.
Okay.
Yep. And then remember that you're going higher, so it's okay if your tongue decides to get a little wider. Just a little bit, not like a ton. Good. And keep in mind right here is pretty close to the top of your, it's a little bit away, like about a third away from the top of your passaggio range, which is about to transition into this. So if you're already there by before that, then the only direction to go is wider. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, this should still be more tall. You're doing a lot of things right, but trust your lips. There, see how that's more relaxed? Okay. Teach. Good. Lean into your lip more on this note. Good. Now on this note, also think of this part of your lip also putting pressure. So you can see more control. Good. Also add it to the D.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can adjust your tension levels.
Okay.
That was good.
Okay.
Good. Okay, now let's put the words on it.
Teach me a song, melodious sonnet.
Pretty good. Let's go. Yeah. So yeah, it's a little less tense than E or you know. Yeah. Yep. Eh. Good. Now teach me some.
Teach.
On the vowels, sorry. Good. On the, I think from about the C or the D, you need to think a little even more puckered than what you've been doing.
Okay.
But like not puckered like out, puckered like in.
In. Okay. All right.
Good, but more freedom on that one now. Good. Now this one, make it more in between this note and this note. Nice. Now that's a bigger jump, right?
Yeah.
So that's some tension to yeah. Okay, now we're on the words.
Teach me some melodious sonnet, sung by flaming tongues above.
Oh, you're sounding so good. That
Thanks
was so
to you.
ringing. Yeah, thanks to you too. I'm just appreciative that you actually followed my advice.
I tried.
Okay.
Praise the mount, I'm fixed upon it, mount of thy redeeming love.
Good. Sing praise the man again.
Praise the mount, praise the
Praise.
praise.
It's classical,
have. Okay.
But anyways,
That
that was
would be-
beautiful. I loved your placement and everything here. Yeah. The main thing you have to remember on these, like, kind of this low mid range, it does require a pucker. It's just not as much pronounced.
And is it more of a phrase? Pray.
It's like somebody grabbed your teeth and praise the Mount, like a light,
Praise the Mount.
just lighter.
Praise
Yeah, you can still shape it like eh.
Praise the Mount.
It's eh.
Praise the
Yeah.
praise.
Praise. It's like musical theater. Praise, which you could do. And it is actually technically wider down there than, up there, than in the Passaggio range. So if we do musical theater, it'd be like, praise the mount I'm fixed upon it. So there would be some sculpting and that a little bit classical, but it would still have kind of a mixture of both. Praise the mount I'm fixed upon it. Praise a little bit.
Praise.
There.
Praise the Mount.
Yeah.
Praise the
You
Mount.
can still use most of your musical theater placement, just a little
Praise.
puckered.
Praise.
Yeah.
Praise the Mount I'm fixed upon it. Mount of redeeming love.
Good. On all your ahs, think just a little more curved and a little more puckered.
What do you mean curved?
On the back of your tongue, curved more because we're in classical and so to speak. So, yeah. There you go. That's classical. The other one was great. It was beautiful. It was just musical theater.
Okay.
It was musical theater classical.
Okay.
So you have the choice
Yeah.
to do it. Just remember from classical, because we've been working on mostly musical theater for you, even on your low mid range, you still need more pucker than you might think. But not too much, otherwise you're going to have too much.
Yeah.
Just a little
But
bit.
I think
It's still
working
wider.
on the musical theater
Helps.
still helped my classical. be
Oh yeah, they
much
complement
better.
each other.
Yeah.
And the more you know about both, the
Yeah.
better they complement. Okay, next one.
I chose How Great Thou Art.
Okay.
Do you have a hymn book?
I do. In fact, aha! Right there. And somebody folded it away that
Oh.
is making me cringe.
Oh dear.
I think it was probably my baby. She actually can lift this. She like goes,
wow.
"Ugh," and she lifts it over her head like she's like the strongest thing.
So I
on
made
the
a copy
planet.
for me, but I figured you'd have a.
Yeah, that'll be helpful.
And I couldn't. The church doesn't own the rights to this, so I couldn't print it off from the
Ah,
website.
No. Okay, what song?
It's 86.
86.
And I got this. I have an old hymn book because this is not in the new hymn book.
Right.
I mean, new. But, so I had an old hymn book, and I'm like, okay, I'll just get it out of my
They
old
don't
book.
own How Great Thou Art either,
Yeah, Hope Growth the Art is in this one.
but they don't own it.
On the website for music, on the
Uh-huh.
church website, when you pull up the hymn book, it doesn't have How Great Thou Art.
Maybe
in
they
it.
had just like a seasonal license then, like one where they owned it for a couple years.
I don't know,
and
or they were
fell
able to
out.
print it, but they aren't able to put it online.
I'm so
So
sorry.
you can't even, like if we're singing it in church, you can't pull it up on your phone.
I mean, there are different copyrights. Maybe they just
Yeah.
didn't want to pay that extra amount or something.
Maybe. What does it say? For world rights except North and South America. Interesting. Anyway, you
Used
can't.
by permission.
Yeah, I'm sure they had permission to print it, but they can't put it up digitally. So
Yeah, it's intense because there's like other ones where it doesn't have all that.
yeah,
But this one's
yes,
like-
this one is. There's something about it. So
Oh man. Okay.
Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout
to bear your testimony this time. And go as fast or slow. I'm going to follow you.
Okay. Oh Lord, my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art.
Awesome. How did you feel about that? What were you thinking? What was your thought process?
I probably don't do it justice, but I think it's, it's beautiful, and I think it praises God for what He has made for us.
You do it justice. You do it justice, Jen. You have such a beautiful testimony, and it really came out when you just sing it. Like, I wish I would have even been even more sensitive. It took me at least one measure to get more sensitive to you. Because that beginning, I love how you did that pause there. It was so artistic and beautiful. And there's just so much testimony there. There's so many layers of testimony that just came out. And that's why you're accepting this mission. That's why you're singing the song. That's why music and singing matters, because it's going to touch people that are beyond feeling, that are beyond reach for words and even sometimes actions, unfortunately. So this is part of that. Why don't you just take a minute to process it now? I'm going to just play for you, and I want you to just think it through and think about kind of a mixture between branching in the testimony into smooth or solid.
Okay.
Kind of smooth and solid.
Okay.
And what this is going to do is it's going to train your support into your emotions. Okay?
Okay. Oh Lord, my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. And sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art.
Beautiful. I love what you pack into this last punch. Who's calling me? Oh no! Okay, I'll get back here in a minute. So, with this, I think I can, a part where I know you want to be as free as possible, and you are bringing a lot of it, let's work on that. So then sings my soul.
Okay.
Let's just vowel it up.
Okay.
Hey, awesome. Can you grab me a pencil from over there?
Maybe.
And that, yeah, it's in there. There should be, some of them have lead, some of them don't.
Okay, but mark on my copy, not yours.
Awesome. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, let's decide, and it's okay to completely change this. You should be able to
Okay.
sing it however you feel is best.
Okay.
But let's at least put one overall phrasing where if you're not as checked in as much as you would like to, or you're worried about this and that, you can just follow the dynamics from it, which will please the choir, all the years of choir side of you, even though you're soloing. So let's just mark some dynamics here. What volume do you want to be there? Just to give you an idea of what comes before, even though I know you know it. I pass throughout the universe displayed. Now, where do you want to come in? Do you want to go, then sings my soul, or then sings my soul, or do you want to, then sings my soul, and be loud right at the beginning?
I think I'd like to get loud kind of quickly, but maybe not right at the beginning.
But not right at the beginning. So do you want,
What do you think?
then sings my soul, or do you want, then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. Okay, and gradual build.
I think I would go louder and maybe up and down.
Up and down? Okay, so maybe right here, we'll start you at like a mezzo piano,
Okay.
and then soul. We'll get to, do you want a forte?
Okay.
Okay, forte.
So my forte's not that
And then
loud.
we can also go like this, like we can actually draw
Mhm.
the dynamic curve there. Or you can even make it more rigid so you can really see kind of the point a little more.
Okay.
That might have been
That
too
feels
soon.
pretty natural to me, so I don't
Mhm.
think I would have to. That wouldn't be out of my comfort range or
Uh-huh.
my natural incline.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
my Savior God to thee.
and then God.
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 to
Or do you want
thee.
God to thee?
What does that mean?
Yeah, that's like that's what you just did. God to thee. You got quieter on there. Now, some of it you naturally want to do because it goes up or down, but it's not always that the case. Sometimes you don't want to follow.
Like Savior God to thee.
Mhm. Yep.
Savior God to thee.
Yep. And then also, do you want to breathe there? Do you want to pause there? Savior God to thee, or Savior God to thee, Savior God to thee. You want to break
I like a
there?
little glottal stop maybe.
God to two.
God to thee.
God
God to.
God to.
God to thee.
Savior God to thee. Yeah, it only works if you put the God. Savior God to thee.
Savior God to thee.
Keep going.
How great thou art.
Now, how do you want to come in on how? So start from here, and then let's play it.
Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art.
What
I don't know. What sounds good?
I've heard it so many ways. So after, oh my Savior God to thee, how great thou art, how great thou art, or how great thou art, how great thou art. It's softer the second time, or more gentle, even if it's not softer.
Yeah.
Or you can start this softer. Yeah. Savior God to thee, how great thou art, how great thou art. So you have options
Okay.
there.
Yeah. I think I like loud first and then soft.
Loud first.
Mhm.
Okay. So maybe a forte or a mezzo forte even. How they have room for mezzo forte. Mezzo forte. And then maybe a mezzo
That's a
piano.
piano.
How great thou art. Or you can even dramatically do it and make it a piano. You want more dramatic?
I'll play with it.
I'll put a this on.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Okay, how great thou art. So you kind of do like almost that. But you sustain it and then crescendo right here.
Oh, crescendo would be.
Crescendo right there.
Oh, okay. All
On
right.
that.
Okay.
How great thou art, then sings my soul. Good. Now, do you want to breathe there, or do you not want to breathe there?
Knowing me,
Keep
I'd
in mind
probably have to
you're
breathe there.
You're already for sure gonna breathe there.
Okay. I could try it. I could try not breathing there.
Okay, let's
Okay.
try it. How great thou art. Breathe.
How great thou art. Oh,
Oh,
great.
you can.
Oh, whoops.
You could not
okay.
breathe there. That's fine too.
Okay,
Just
I
choose
was
where
in
you're
the wrong
breathing.
place. So,
All right, here.
okay.
How great thou art, how great thou art, then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. So do you want to keep breath or no
let's
breath?
try no breath.
No
I'll
breath?
practice it and see if
Okay. And then also try it this way, where you actually do breathe after art,
Okay.
and then, but don't breathe between these two.
Oh, okay. All right, let's try that.
Ready?
That's right.
How great thou art, how great thou art, then sings my soul. See,
Yeah, I
they
think-
both do
yeah.
cool things.
Yeah, okay.
Which one do you like
that.
better?
Yeah, I think I like no breath between the two. How great thou art.
Okay. So it's more like a rest, but you're sculpting it similar to this too, where you're kind of doing that almost kind of marcato-y like
Okay.
thing, where you
Uh-huh.
like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It really goes into this next note, so I'm gonna make these a lot bigger.
Okay.
How great thou art.
Okay, so mezzo forte, and then
Mhm.
soft.
The mezzo forte
mezzo
really
piano,
starts
piano.
really like this
The
note
mezzo
fades to
piano,
it
you
a
mean?
little bit. So it's like, how great thou art, how great thou, great is the one that kind of,
Yeah. Okay.
how great thou art. Yeah, so this is still heavily accent. I'll even put like an accent above it.
Yeah.
How about
Okay.
that?
Great thou art.
Yep, so you pop great a little more.
Yeah. Okay.
Great thou art, then sings my soul. Let's try it two ways. Let's go, how great thou art, then sings my soul. And then we'll do one where it goes, art, then sings. We have that quicker breath.
Okay.
Although, based on what you're doing here, probably going to want the bigger. So this note.
Okay. Okay.
So this process, you're still doing this process.
Right, but
Just
kind of
with
not
the
the
breath a
same.
little bit.
Okay.
Breath right here. I'll even write it over the breath of that. Breath right there. Okay. Let's start from Then Sings My Soul, the beginning.
Okay. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art.
It's because of this.
Yeah,
You wanted
okay.
to. You almost tried to not breathe there,
Yeah, yeah,
and it was
okay,
pretty.
okay.
Like these are tempting
I
to
just saw
not
that a long
breathe.
time. Yeah.
And let's put a breath
Okay.
mark here,
Okay.
so you remember and just
Okay,
cross that out.
yeah.
It is beautiful. It's if we could just not breathe, it would be awesome,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it'd be great. Huh?
Okay.
Then sings my soul, my Savior
And
God
really
to
remember,
thee.
just on my, really remember to get louder. Like,
Okay,
that gradual
okay,
sings my soul. Like, really remember that
Okay.
breath.
All right. Then sings my soul, my
Sings
Savior.
my, even the whole
Sings
my.
my soul.
Yeah, even though it's fast, where most of it goes on the ah. Most of the crescendo is going on the ah.
Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee.
focus your breathing there.
I didn't breathe.
It sounded like a breath.
I didn't breathe. I did. I put a T there, but I did not breathe.
Okay. Well, I didn't hear this crescendo thing, so maybe
okay,
that's why
I probably didn't do it.
Okay.
I was thinking of not breathing.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, where we're starting.
How great that.
Okay. How great thou art, how great thou... Oops, that's supposed to be softer. This
Okay.
is loud.
Well, you do grow, but then you on great is when you back off.
How great thou art.
Yeah.
How great thou art, how great thou art.
Yeah, so you do grow. It's just, it goes like this, where it goes loud, and then you kind of come down and then get loud. So here's where you come down a little bit, is right after this note. Oh. Okay. Right after, it's right on this note. Remember how it goes ah and builds again?
Okay.
So right here, immediately. Like, Shazam.
Okay.
Shazam! And then it gets hard, and it kind of grows, but it doesn't grow to the mezzo forte, it just grows to the mezzo piano, and then it still comes down.
Okay, I'll have to work on that.
And then kind of maintains.
Okay. So sing that for me the way you just...
Yeah.
Now
I'll try to.
Okay.
How great thou art, how great thou art, then sing.
Okay. I will work on it.
Yeah, no, these are fun things. And the thing is, you know this so well that there's several ways that we can work on it, similar to how we did the other hymn. You work on the vowels and all the things that you're used to, kind of switching up to kind of fine tune. And you know where your trouble spots are. Most of them are on like notes like your like that transition note there. This one you're not as bad. You're like actually ahead of most sopranos here. Right here, this one sometimes you get a little rough on certain vowels, not all the vowels. And just the overall tendency is how you need more puckering now, but a little out of shape on the classical end of it.
Okay. All right.
But you're more in shape placement even with your classical. It's just a little bit of the rounded.
Yeah,
And
and
then
I realized
a
when
little
I was
bit of the
practicing I needed more pucker. I did remember that.
Yeah.
I need to just...
You sound great. And this is just us doing this. So I'm already, me personally, like my my ADD is exhausted already, even just with working this. Like I can still work, I know how to push through whatever. But I'd imagine you're probably exhausted now from all the hard work we just did, labor intensive. So this part, so you don't have to sculpt everything every day to this degree.
Okay.
But this song I can just tell that you just are so passionate about, you might want to. But maybe just do like a line or two per day.
Okay.
Don't worry about sculpting all in one day.
Okay.
That's too exhausting. Or if you do sculpt the whole song, sculpt it for one element, like maybe just like an overall arching. This is kind of what I'm looking for, just draw the line.
Yeah.
And then the next day you add in like the dynamics, and the next day you add some strong weaks in, and then the next day you add like some marcatos and some other breath marks, and so either break it up by like what you work on for the day, or just work on a couple lines per day.
Okay.
Of sculpting. You can work on the whole song as a whole, like for vowels and everything, but specifically sculpting, it's exhausting, especially if you're working on the emotional side. Like for example, let's go ahead and do it, even though we're a little bit tapped out. Let's push ourselves just a little bit more, just so you can kind of grasp this. So then sings my soul. Think of soul as like ooh, ooh, like this full sound. Soul. Say that. Soul. Yeah. And go ahead now, sing it with that motion. Ooh, that felt good to me too. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee.
How great thou art.
Good. That was good for soul. That's the main thing we focused on, right? So everything else we're just like, what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But, and that the more
got lots to
intensity
work
they
on.
can. And it's weird. It is so bizarre. But like when you do break it down to the point where you can think this complicated a little bit, and it becomes habit, so you don't have to think of all the things at the same time. Literally, you can tell the difference between someone who beautiful voice, even if they naturally then sings my soul, this is my testimony. And you're still going to be more powerful being the one that practiced, that took the time to do the breath marks and the this and the that. It will be more focused. It will be more clear. The vowel will come out. The ringing, nothing will block your way. Does that make sense? Because you'll have something. And even if you go on performance day and don't think of anything, you'll be able to just do it so much more piercing than the person who just was a natural talent, whipped it out, and sang it amazingly as well.
Okay. I get that. I see that. That's why. I mean, this is what you've helped me with today is not something I know how to do. So that's good. It's perfect.
Well, and this will give you an idea of how to do it for everything else.
Yeah.
But then another layer is the emotional side. You know, soul, rounding it. If it's high, making it feel. What ways can you describe high? Sure, it can be like sometimes when you think high, we think a bad technique high, like I have to push hard to get high. No, when you're trying to elevate someone, when they feel high, they're loose, they're happy, they're like, woo, euphoric, you know. And so you can bring that into that. How great thou art! Great is a euphoric word. How great, go great, great, go great. Now go great, great. How great thou art! And see, we kind of almost put both in, both the swell, but that was too heavy for me. That was too, all right. So that's why I was like, okay, now go great, great, great. Yeah, great, and then with both, how great thou art, where you have both the lift plus the, you know. Okay. So you could do things like that, even if they seem pretty opposite. If you want both of those elements in, practice it one way, practice it the other, and then kind of meet it in the middle, kind of, and it'll just naturally apply somehow. And it uses your obliques actually when you do that. If you pay attention to that.
Cool. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
That was a productive lesson.
It was. Thank you very much. A little different.